In this video, I want to compare and contrast the Wusthof Gourmet to the Wusthof Ikon Bread Knives. The Gourmet is their entry-level line, while the Ikon is their flagship line, so there are major differences between the two. They both start off with relatively similar steel, 58 hardness, but the Gourmet is machine-made and stamped, while the Ikon is forged and handmade, and what that means is the Ikon is going to be a much more resilient blade than the Gourmet's blade. The second thing is the actual cutting angle. The cutting angle of the Ikon is ground down to a very sharp 14 degrees, while the cutting angle of the Gourmet is ground down to a relatively dull 18.5 degrees. And to put that in perspective, with the Ikon I can shave all the hairs off my arm in one pass, and with the Gourmet, no matter how many times I'm rubbing it against my arm, it's not going to be cutting any hairs. The flexibility of the knives makes a big difference too, especially in a bread knife. Since the Gourmet is stamped, it does not have a bolster. It doesn't have a big thick bolster like the Ikon does. With the Ikon, the bolster ends up making the blade very, very rigid, while the lack of a bolster in the Gourmet makes the blade extremely flexible. And when you're cutting through a very, very tough loaf of bread, that's sort of a problem. The handles, though, are where the biggest differences are obvious. The handle of the actual Ikon has been designed to be the most ergonomic handle they could. That's not to say the handle of the classic is not ergonomic. It's a traditional German style handle. It's just not the most comfortable handle you could be using. The Ikon has done two things to the handle to make it as comfortable as possible. The first is the very unique shape it has, and I really feel like no matter how you're holding it in your hand, it feels like it's part of your hand. And the second is a very thick tang and a mass at the bottom, so that when you're holding it, the weight falls into your hand and really makes it feel like an extension of your entire arm, and I like that a lot about it. At the end of the day, though, it really becomes a personal choice, a personal preference. I'll put a link down to both below, and if you have any questions, any comments, or any concerns, as always, let me know, and otherwise I will talk to you very, very soon.